such a little cheeky baby. Gimme. Welcome to the 9 Lives podcast. I'm your host, Amory Avey, aka Crazy Avey. Usually I say that the other way, don't I? But today I did not, because it's been quite a week. As you can see, if you're on the YouTube, I'm missing 2 nails. Okay. I still have not sewn the hole that's in my onesie, because that's where I'm at in my life. Okay. That should sum up what I've been feeling. Yesterday, I don't think I got out of bed till like 3 p.m. Been pretty tired. Started a new job. Continuing to do this. By the way, made pumpkin bars last week. Turned them into pump cat bars. If you have not seen that, please go and check it out on Crazy Aveland. Also, by the way, I made those pump cat bars and I was like joking the whole time that I was going to bring them to my neighbors, which I did. And one of them, I couldn't, they didn't answer the door. So I just left them on the front step. And then they sent me a little note that they're like arty. Like you go into their front yard. I'll have to like Insta story it one day. But there's like, they've like painted the fences. Different colors. They have like murals on their stuff. They have like a bunch of little trinkets like all over. It's like a super arty house. And it's this older couple and they're so nice. Like every time I see them, by their cars are kind of always parked near each other. So I always like say hi. And they gave me this little card and it was like saying thank you for the pumpkin bars. And then they had their own cat, Holly, and sent me a picture of it in the thank you card. And they just happened to be cat people. And I was like, God works in mysterious ways. But isn't that funny? Like, of course they're cat people. Of course. So perfect. I knew it was meant to be. I knew I had to drop off those pump cat bars. But yeah, check out the video if you want to check it out. Really quick, sorry, my foot was touching this pumpkin. Let's talk about this pumpkin for a minute. I got this pumpkin in 2017, last year around this time. And my goal was to carve it into like a little PPP. Just for like my own personal fun. This is before I had a YouTube channel. I just wanted to do that. And then basically like a lot of depression was happening and I didn't do that. That's what happens. But I have it and I don't know, like, should I carve it? Will it smell? I mean, it doesn't smell or anything. Like, I'm surprised it's stayed intact. Like, is that what happens? Like, if you don't carve a pumpkin, do they just stay intact like this? Like, I'm kind of shook by it, but I might do that. I might have to turn this into a little Papa Puff pumpkin. It's been with us through a whole year. Been through us through the whole year, hasn't it? So I might have to do that. But anyways, yeah, Kavanaugh, I don't want to get into it that much, and I'll tell you why. Not because I don't care. Not because I don't have opinions. I definitely always have opinions. But because you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere, hear about it, talk about it. It's everywhere. So many think pieces, it's just everywhere. So all I'm going to say is that I recognize the shit that's happened. I recognize that people are upset. I recognize all those things. And even if you're not upset, congratulations for not being upset. Like, this world's tough as it is. But I guess what I'm saying is like, I just want this place, the Nine Lives podcast, to be a place where we talk about uncomfortable things, but also a place of fun and to remind yourself to laugh in adversity, in times of scary things. You know what I mean? I put quotes, and because at the end of the day, well, this is going to get dark, but at the end of the day, we're all going to die and none of this will matter. So when I say that, I'm not saying go kill yourself. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just saying we got to remember to stay present. We got to be thankful for what we do have. We got to remember to sit here and know that we'll get through it. We got to remember to vote. We got to remember to just do the best that we can as much as we can every day. And, you know, even in times of defeat, man, like when you can still have that mentality that things will always be working in your favor eventually, or you will come through it, or things will get better. If you have that belief, then nothing can go wrong. What's that movie? There's that movie that came out a few years ago, and it was God, did Angelina Jolie produce it or something? And it was about that true story about that guy who was a hostage in Unbroken 2014. Have you seen that, Austin?
No, I just
okay, yeah, of course. It is so good. It's based on a true story. This man, all these events happened, by the way, but his plane got shot down, and then he was like in the Pacific with two other men, and then he was a POW for years, and it was just shit after shit for years. And it shows like he was with like one of these other guys, and one of these other guys didn't have a good attitude. I mean, which makes sense to me. You're in the middle of the ocean on a raft for like a week or so, going crazy, wondering if you're going to die out there. Then you become a prisoner of war and don't know if you're going to die being a prisoner of war. And so when all those things happen, like you can see his mentality and his this guy, I forget his name, but he just kept believing that things would be better, or he just had this strong mentality. And I feel like it's called upon now. Like we all need to get in our heads that it is so important for all of us to have a strong mentality, because you cannot survive if you don't. You can't. And so in these times when when you just feel freaking defeated, or life is not throwing you a bone, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. Last night I heard my car fucking making another noise, and I got so angry because this will be the third time that I brought it in like a month, and I'm pretty pissed off by it. And started a new job, which I'm super thankful for, but at the same time, there's like that things where I feel defeated because I'm not at where I want to be at in my career, but I'm like still taking this job, even though I have a good time. Like when I serve or bartend, I have a great time doing things like that. You know what I mean? Like when I'm there, I have a good attitude. But at the end of the day, some people treat you like your job title, and it's annoying. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, you have no idea that I've even started a cat cult. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know. But when you can keep that mentality and say, you know what, I'm here to make money and to grow this business for them at this point. You never know who you're going to meet. I'm going to just do my best and keep putting one foot in front of the other. If you have goals in mind and know that you're not stuck, no one is ever stuck. Your mentality is stuck. You are not stuck. Your mentality is stuck. So when you can just keep like repeating that to yourself, even though like things happen with Kavanaugh or like whatever, whether you agree with it or not, nothing is stuck or permanent. You don't know what's going to happen in a year. You don't know if someone else could die. You don't know. You don't know. So you just have to like keep the faith, even when the road is super foggy. You know what I mean? The road's leading somewhere. You just got to keep following the road, even though you can't see all the way down the line. And I feel like that's what's called upon right now. And it's tough, but that's why it's so important. Like, that's why it's so important, just as important as your physical health. If you're exercising every day and you're like, I got to eat healthy, I got to blah, blah, blah. What are you doing for your mentality, though? What are you digesting? Are you watching funny things? Are you reading uplifting material to help you with that? Are you petting a cat more? Like, what are you doing? It's important because all this shit's going on. So we need you at your best. And it's hard to do sometimes, by the way. It's hard to do. You got to cry. You got to like get it out of you somehow, you know? So that's okay. I'm not saying you can't cry or you can't whatever. But we also have to get back on the track. Because sometimes like what would happen to me is when I got off kilter or like a event would happen that is hard to comprehend. I couldn't bounce back very fast. And so with a stronger mentality, what has it allowed me to do is to be able to feel those emotions, which is healthy, but then to also get back in the game again a lot faster. So I'm not feeling those emotions for weeks or months on end. I am dealing with them, seeing them, recognizing, and then getting back up on that horse and riding up the mountain all over again. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And so that's why it's so important to remember your real goal here in life. What's your purpose? Or even today, like, is it to help your kids do something? Like you know what? I gotta get back on this horse because my kids need me. My kids need me to be fun, or not be fun necessarily, but just get their stuff, get them to school, make sure they're doing the homework, have a little playtime with them for like 15, 20 minutes. Like, you know, you got to show up. You have to show up. That's the only choice. We have to show up. You could show up to vote. You know, you just got to show up. And we can't be complacent as much as I feel like sometimes we were in the past. I mean, I was in the past. I wasn't complacent, but I was definitely stagnant. So what have I done then to get me out of this? Well, one thing I wanted to talk to you guys today about is cat costumes. Welcome to Halloween time. We got to brainstorm some cat costumes. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how to sew, clearly, or else this hole would be put back together. Look at that little guy. Just a little whoop. But I can whip up something. So, like, Colonel Meow was, what did I do for Colonel Meow one day? One year I made him as Gandalf the Grey, and I just took like a bunch of duct tape and like made a hat and then got him a stick and like put it against him, and then he looked like Gandalf the Grey. That's what I'm talking about. Like I'm not someone who knows how to sew intricate patterns or anything like that, but you know, I can kind of fidget something around and make it work. So I'm really interested in possibly doing that with Papa, but I don't really know what to do with him. And I have an idea already for the broad in me, because I have an idea for, I want to do a picture. I usually, for Halloween, I usually dress up a couple days. I don't like to just do one day. I do a couple days, and then my personal costume always has a cat twist. I was Cat Yonsei one year. I made my friend Kareem be JC instead of Jay-Z, and we were just dressed as Beyonce and Jay-Z with like a cat as cats. Like it was so, like I do that a lot. So with this year coming up, I'm really excited. I have a couple ideas. Like I just got to make sure that I implement them and execute them at some level. But I was like the cat that got your tongue. One year I dressed up as a cat, and then I had a cat dish and I had a tongue in it and just made it bloody and carried it around all night. So people were like, "Oh, are you a cat?" And I was like, "No, bitch, I'm the cat that got your tongue, motherfucker." And then people were like, "Oh God." One guy, by the way, I was at a party and I had put like a little blood or something right here, and I had like this cat costume out. And I was telling him, he was like, "Wow." He was like, "That's really creative." And like, he looked at me like he couldn't believe. Like, I don't even know this guy. He looked at me like he couldn't even believe I was like a creative human being. And I was like, "Yep." And he's like, "Yeah, but no one's going to want to make out with you with blood on your lip." And I was like, "Oh no." My life is so sad because no one wants to make out with me on Halloween because there's blood. Get the fuck out of here. You think that's why I showed up here today is in order to make out with a man? Get the fuck out of here. I was so irritated. And of course I had had a few drinks at this point and definitely put him in his place. And he was like, kind of like, I was like, yeah. Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, so do you want me to take this off so you can get out of here?"
Somebody wanted to make out with Anne-Marie and she shut that down.
Yeah, but he like said it weird though. He wasn't like, "No one's gonna want to make out with you if he didn't say it like that. He was like, "Hey, just heads up, like no one's gonna want to make out with." Like he said it like a jerk. He didn't say it like seductively, like we've been like talking all night. Like he would just kind of inserted the conversation and then I told him and then he said that. So let's just clear that up right now. But of course I'm going to shoot down a man. I have no problem shooting down a man. I actually get great I kind of love shooting down a guy out of nowhere when he says something idiotic. But I do, I appreciate compliments, but like, you're not complimenting me. Like you're making me have to adjust my whatever in order for you. Like, even if you were like, let's say you were hitting on me, let's say that guy was hitting on me. He did it in such a half-ass backwards way to make me feel bad and insecure about what I was doing in order for him to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, why can't you just say that looks hot?
I didn't say he was doing a good job.
Okay, thank you. He said, I didn't think he was doing a good job. I was just saying that. I was like, all right, good. Because he didn't do a good job.
But if it was a girl who was more insecure, he might have had her that night.
Gross.
I know.
He said if there was a girl that was more insecure, he might have had her that night. And I was like, that's disgusting. But that's the thing, though, is like there are things that men say sometimes to hit those insecure buttons. And for me, it was just like I wasn't insecure about it because that wasn't my goal. My goal is to just have fun, meet people. Like, I'm in LA, like I don't know a lot of people here. So I'm always like open to meeting people, saying hi, like whatever. By the way, there was this couple at that party. Oh, this is interesting. There was this couple at this party and they were married. And then I was talking to this girl and she was saying how her and her husbands are into threesomes and that they like to pick women together and like do stuff with them. And I was like, they were both telling me this by myself. And I just met them and I was like, I was like, whatever works for you guys, like I didn't know if they were hinting it at me or if they were just in conversation, but it was kind of awkward. But I found that very interesting how open they were about it at like a party. I mean, I guess it was a Halloween party, so maybe it was a special occasion. But there are so many things now that I feel like is different. I grew up in a small town, which was pretty conservative. It was a very like, it was a very like Republican town, you know what I mean? Everywhere. Conservative values, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not like, I understand that on some aspect, but when it comes to like, I've been opened up so much about how a marriage should be just because of friends that I know that have been married and then they tell me what they do like sexually. There's like one of my friends, well, they're divorced now, so maybe that should tell you how this is. One of my friends, she and her husband like had an open relationship. They went to therapy about it. They had like 25 rules about what they had to do and not do. So like they could each go on Tinder, meet up with people. You always had to tell your husband or wife if you were doing it. You couldn't have an emotional affair. It was just sexual. And every time you had sex, you had to get checked afterwards. Like there was like all these like rules about this threesome thing. And to me, it was like I don't really understand that. Like I don't want that. Like, I just don't think it seems so complicated and so much effort. And like, when you could just be putting that into your own marriage, like, I don't really understand that. But then this couple at the Halloween was like, we do it together. Like, they don't go off by themselves. You know what I mean? They just bring one person into their, whatever. But they were telling me about an app called Thrinder, which is a app for what's it called? Thruples, for people like a pair to like seek one person or one person to seek a pair, which I was like, that exists? Like, of course it exists. You know what I mean? Like, I had no idea. So then they're telling me about it. And then some singles meet other singles and just meet up and like get together. You know what I mean? Because they're looking for couples, but maybe they're not any or something. I don't know. But I found that so interesting. Like it's so common. This is so common that there's an app for it. You know what I mean? Like that's how common it is. But how I grew up, that is if you're bringing a third person into your marriage, then maybe there's a problem. Like, you know what I mean? It's almost like when someone's have problems and they decide to get a dog, or when someone has problems and they decide to get a baby. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't actually solve the problems that you have. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's no problems. They just want to like get it on sexually and up their game up in that area. You know, like, I don't know. I just feel like what I was taught, which is like, one guy, one girl all the time, which is basically how I want. Like, I cannot have another guy like looking at women all the time. Like, I can't. I mean, like, you can do it. Like, yeah, sure, go on porn when I'm not around every once in a while. Okay, fine. But like, if I'm with you and then you're constantly searching for another woman to come in, that's not going to fly with me. Like, you need to be looking at me. My tits need to be enough. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot.
What if it's another girl? Or what if it's another guy?
God, no, I can't do that. I don't want to look at another guy. I could not have two guys. I could not have two dicks in my face at once. It's too much. Like, it's already, I'm like, oh God, what? Like, just like, where do you want to go? It's too much.
What if it wasn't a threesome, but what if it was polyamorous, where you had two really hot husbands?
Yeah, and then they're two emotionally distant husbands. Like,
Are you saying all men are emotionally distant? That's pretty sexy.
I don't think all men are emotionally distant, but I believe they're not as empathic as women, most men. And so, like, for me to have communication problems with two men instead of just one, fucking get me a goddamn gun to my brain. Like, I could not handle. And then what would happen is like the two men would be like, I totally get what you're saying, man, blah, blah, blah. And then I would always be the odd person out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, God.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah, I'm like the arguments would never be on my end. It's not equal. It's not equal to me. It's not working. But I also know a girl who I went to college with, who I love, who's super smart, funny, cute, is now in a polyamorous relationship, got married. She was the third one, got married to them, and has been like 2 years married.
To them?
Yes.
Like
they had a ceremony. I don't know if it was legal, but they had a wedding. So like the two of them were already married, and then she came in as the third, and then they had a wedding for that. So I don't know if it was, I don't know.
Is it 2 girls? Or
2 girls and a guy. I don't know if 2 guys would do it. Would you do it, Austin? Would you be in a polyamorous relationship?
Probably with 2 girls, but I don't know if I would do it with 2 guys.
Well, would you do it with 1 guy and a girl?
Right, but like
just 3 guys.
That's awful. Horrible.
Oh my God. Just
I don't think I would
3 guys.
I don't think I would do it unless it was a really specific reason that that guy was okay for some reason.
Right.
And I don't know what that reason would be.
He said that he doesn't know. He said there had to be like a really specific reason for him to be in a polyamorous relationship with a guy and a girl rather than just 2 girls. But he would do it with 2 girls. I could totally see you doing it with 2 girls. Like you would be able, like, because you guys would just all talk so much. Like Austin can talk. Let me just tell you, Austin is a talker. Like I could just see the 3 of you going around. And Austin would love that he was like the only guy. You would love it. You would fucking love it. God. I'm going to be at your wedding just being like, told you I called this about 2018.
The only thing I can call was the third one.
Yeah, you have like suddenly you're Mormon moving to Utah.
My beard's back.
No, but it's just things that I don't know. Like for example, too, I met this guy who's bi, and I was doing stand up and he was doing stand up, and then we became friends, and he was like his whole set was about him being bisexual. And I was like, oh my God, we should hang out. Like I just loved him. Like, you know what I mean? And then we met up for like happy hour, and I realized we were on a date. Like, you know what I mean? And I didn't know that. I thought we were just friends meeting up and hanging out. And it wasn't until like I went back. Well, it wasn't that day. Like we met up again with a bunch of his friends, and then his friends left or something. And he was like trying to like make moves on me. And I was so fucking uncomfortable because I was like this. I was like literally like this, and he was like, "Hey," like trying to like trying to like put me. It was so uncomfortable. Trying to like push me back and like get me. And I was like, "Are you not reading my fucking body language? Like I don't even, you know." And I felt super uncomfortable, but I also felt like you're bi, and for some reason, I know that like. When you come out as bi and you live in LA and you hadn't been living in LA that long, like my intuition was that you're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from gay town. You know what I mean? Like you're not bi. You're actually gay and you're just kind of feeling it out and you know, you're like, I don't know. So I felt really uncomfortable because I was like, I don't know if I could be with a guy who's bi. Not because it's bad, but because it's like now I got to worry about men on top of the women. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I cannot. Like, you're getting a boner off some dude as well as the woman. Like, it's just like, I can't compete. I can't compete with 100% of the population.
I think that people who are in these kind of relationships are not competitive.
What do you mean? Austin said they're not really competitive in that way.
I think people who end up in these relationships are like sex positive, where they're like,
Well, I'm not done with my story.
yeah.
I'm not done with my story. So I like didn't want to hang out with him for a while because he made me feel really uncomfortable. First of all, when I was clearly shutting him down, and I felt uncomfortable because I was at his house with all his roommates, and I just felt very like annoyed because I thought we could be like comedy friends and like, you know, maybe write together. Like I had that in my mind. So suddenly when this turned into being like, no, I kind of want to date you, I got really fucking mad. And I get mad. Like this is the thing. This is a problem about being a woman in comedy is that when you want to hang out with a male comic, whether they're straight or fucking bi, they think it's something sexual every time. Like this one guy invited me out to his show and I was like, yeah, I'll totally come out there. Like I'd love to, like, I just want to meet comedy friends. And then like, he was like looking at me and like talking to me like, yeah, so how'd you like the show? Like I came out to see him and his show because I like him. Like, do you know what I mean? And I was like, God damn it. No, I just want to do comedy with you. I want to talk to you about comedy. But so I stopped talking to this guy who's bi because I was like, well, fuck, that's what he wants to do, right? I don't want to do this. I don't want to like, whatever. And I told him, I was like, you know, I'm just really looking for someone who's a comic, blah, 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 blah. Like I told him to. And then he like got mad. Like he's a Scorpio, by the way. So he got mad and like, I think he was offended or I don't know what. He basically got in his head about it and felt bitchy, and it's fine. Like I was like, whatever, that's your problem, it's not mine. Then he randomly, like months later, he sends me a video of him doing stand-up, and the whole set is about him being gay now. The entire set. And I was like, yep, knew it. I knew it. Why the fuck were you why were you hitting on me so hard? Why are you making it so fucking awkward? Like I was so cold to him on purpose to like have him stop being so, you know, hitting on me so we could still have a friendship, so we could like, you know, I like addressed it specifically so we could like blah, blah, blah. And then he just like got mad at me. And yet now you're fucking full on gay. Like, what do you, I just didn't even know what to say. I was like, I was like, great set, nice job, you know, and then it was nothing. Like he still didn't, like he didn't even write any words. He didn't even like tell me any, I was like, whatever, you're such a fucking Scorpio about it. But it's stuff like that where I'm like, I've had situations that make me think that if you're bi, you're gonna be gay eventually. But I've also like I've seen guys who've been married who have been married who maybe have done something with men. But I've never seen a man who was bi who, let me try to put this right. I've never seen a man who is bi who dates a man, like has a boyfriend, let's say for like a year, okay? And then goes back to women. I've never seen that. I've never even heard of that. I have seen men hooking up with guys, but then always staying and marrying women or dating a woman. I have never seen a man who dates a guy for like years, has a boyfriend, like this is my boyfriend, then decides to go back the other way. With women, that happens all the time. Like I feel like that goes both ways all the time. But I have not seen a man cross back over, and I don't know what that's about. And maybe someone can tell me it is. But let's be like, you have to really hear me on that. Like, don't get my words twisted. Like, I know like bi guys who are in relationship with women or date women and then hook up with guys. Like, you know what I mean? But never seen the full swing the other way. I just find that very interesting. God, we're just like on this topic today. I don't really know what it's about. Talking about sex is so much better than talking about all the political crap that's going on. Like
Political crap about sex.
Political crap. Let's not do it. Let's not go there. Oh, by the way, let's actually, since we're on this topic, there's this girl that listed 22 things her man is not supposed to do. And like people are freaking out. Let me see if I can bring this up. And because it's on this fucking topic now that we're talking about it. And this is like crazy shit. She wrote she printed out a rules list for her boyfriend, which automatically, let me tell you, if you have to print out a rules list for your boyfriend, you guys should not be together. If you have to control somebody, if you have to give them rules of controlling someone or like whatever, you should not be together. If you need to talk to somebody about your boundaries, that's totally different, but you can't just give someone's rules to somebody. You have to talk about your boundaries and why it makes you uncomfortable and how can we work this out together. You can't just like give someone your rules and expect somebody to just do that. It needs to be like a coming together type of thing. But let me read you this shit. She wrote, you are not to have single girl's phone number. So you can't have any single girl phone number in your phone. I would hate that because I'm somebody that has a lot of male friends, straight male friends that I love and adore. And I've been with him for years. And they're going to be at my wedding and they're always at my birthdays. Like, I can't imagine not having the straight male friends in my life. Like, I would hate that. And for suddenly someone to come in and say, no, you can't do that, drive me nuts. Now, for men to just have straight single women, like, listen, if you're worried about him cheating or if he's already cheated on you, you shouldn't be with that person. You need to get rid of him. Like, that's too much anxiety. Like, get rid of that person. They're not supposed to be for you. You know, if they can't keep it in their pants, then why are you with them? And it's not like so many people are like men can't be friends with women. I think that's bullshit. I think it's absolutely bullshit. And I think that you can have boundaries. Everyone can have boundaries and you can say no. And if you don't think that, then maybe you rape. Like, God, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should be able to have boundaries and say no to people. Oh, Belly's just went to the bathroom and it smells like shit. Ew, Belly's, cover that up. Gross. Okay. This next one. You are not to follow any single girl on social media, including Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. What are you how can you even, you can't even follow, like what? Like you can't even follow celebrities? Like what does this go down to? So bizarre. I would never do that to anyone.
Only married celebrities.
Only married celebrities. What if they get divorced? Unfollow. Yee, bye. You are not to hang out with Keegan, including his house, at his house or anywhere in public. I don't know who Keegan is. I don't know if that's a girl's or a boy's name. It feels like it could be a girl's or a boy's name. But you can't even include, oh, it's his house, says including his house. So it's a guy. Or anywhere in public. You can't at his house or anywhere in public. So he can come over to your house. Like, who is this person? Like, you're already controlling their friends? Like, God. You are not to go to Honda without me. Vroom, vroom. I don't know what that means. You can't go to the dealership. I don't know. I have no idea why. You are not to hang out with your friends more than 2 times a week. Get out of here. Get out of here. Like, here's the thing. there's like that study. I don't know if you've like seen that study, but there's something about like men need to hang out with their friends like once or twice a week in order to have good mental health. Like something about that releases something in their brain. They can just be immature or something. Like, I don't know. And it kind of like gets it out of them or whatever. Oh God, this hole is like right there. But there was like this study that like showed that it's actually really healthy for men to hang out with their male friends and like, huh?
Be ourselves sometimes.
Oh, so you're wearing a mask right now, Austin? You're not. So you're not being yourself around me? Austin's like, so we can just be ourselves. Oh, so you're lying around me every day? Oh, is that right? But I think it's just fun. I think everyone should be able to have fun and God, like go to happy hour with somebody. Like it doesn't have to be all night long, but you should be able to like, go to happy hour and like chill out with people. You're not to look at a single girl. I mean, the fact that she has to put this in writing, like, what is this? If girls come up to you at any place or any time, you are to walk away. Sorry. So what if he's with you and a girl comes up to him?
No.
He's got to walk away, but you're just going to say, what are you going to do to that girl? God, I feel sorry for you. I could never put these rules on somebody. I would feel so uncomfortable. I'm already uncomfortable listening to this. Mo is to not hang out with us every time we hang out. I have no idea who Mo is, but it's probably a friend of his. You are not to ask for head. Naughty, naughty. He can't even, what? Now, come on. You got to have communication about sex. This is this thing where I can't stand. Like, I don't like it when someone doesn't ask. What, you're just going to push my head down? Is that what you want him to do? You actually encourage him to do the old push your head down to the dick move? Give me a fucking break. God, we're trying to have better communication. Let the man ask for head. It's a lot better than just getting dick shoved in my face. Come on now. You are not to get mad at me about a single thing ever again. Okay. Who is this psycho? Who is this psycho? Anger is a healthy emotion. It should be expressed in order to be released. Bet you're crazy. You're not to bring up Tyler, Noah, Devin, or Josh ever again. And then she wrote, ewy. I don't know who these people are. This bitch needs to get dumped. This bitch needs to get dumped. Who are you? You are not allowed to drink unless I am with you. Absolutely not. God. I cannot. Why? Okay, this girl obviously has trauma. This girl obviously has major trust issues, major trauma. Let's remember that. All this shit stems from trauma, okay? But the thing is you can't put your other shit on people. You can't put your other shit. You have to catch yourself, realize when you're, acting a certain way, and then communicate. Be like, oh my God, I'm acting like this. I know it sounds weird, but because of blah, 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 I have insecurities, I'm trying to work through it. You got to tell people where you're at, and you got to tell people where you're trying to be, because you don't want to hold that on other people. God, I am allowed to do a phone check whenever I please. Oh my God. This guy must have cheated on her though. Maybe he's the one that cheated. And not that I'm saying these rules are okay, but he must have cheated or something, because that's the only thing where I would feel like maybe for a little while, I should be able to look at your phone. You constantly lied, was texting other girls, were whatever, cheating behind my back. Maybe don't have a password on your phone. It makes me feel whatever. Maybe, I don't know. If you're trying to work it out, I could see maybe that being something for a bit, just to be open and be like, yeah, I'm not cheating on you. Of course, I don't know. If we move in, there are to never, ever be girls at our house. No. She she has this typed up, and then next to it, she wrote no. I don't understand. Like, bitch, you want to move in with him? You're this oh my God, no. If we move in together, your friends are rarely to be allowed over. God, wow, you seem like real fun. You really make me want to move in with you. You sound like a fucking blast. If I catch you around girls, I kill you. Oh my God. And she like underlined it in red. And then she wrote next to it, sorry, Buster. What? You're making a death threat? No.
Sorry.
This is crazy emotional abuse and psychotic. You are not to ditch me for your friends. God, she has a real issue with the friends thing. It's not just women. She has a real issue. It's a insecurity issue. She needs all the attention all the time. No one else. Oh my God. It says, Austin does not control when I hang out with you. That's like my boyfriend to me. That's weird. Austin does not control when I hang out with you. Never. Who the fuck? Who are these people? We are to go on a legit date once every 2 weeks at least. I mean, that's a reasonable request. That's like the one reasonable request. Like, look, just every 2 weeks, can we go on a legit date? Like, that sounds like that's twice a month. You know what I mean? That's like the only sane thing on here. We are to, wait, if I say jump, you say how high, princess? Oh my God. What the fuck? You are to make sure you tell me you love me once a day at least so I know you're not messing around.
Does that prove?
Oh my God. I don't even know.
What is she, 19?
I don't know. You are to never take longer than 10 minutes to text me back. Bitch, what's he's at work? This is too much. I hope this guy like fucking dumped her. Like I can't even I can't. Yeah, you got to run. Run away from this woman. It's just like, look, controlling behavior is a human being behavior. Okay. It doesn't just happen to men. It also happens to women. And that just shows like a super intense controlling woman that is abusive on some level. No, even if he cheated, now I get why he cheated. Holy shit. Like you're fucking suffocating him. Not that I'm saying it's right, but maybe he feels like he doesn't have a voice or anything. And so the only way he could control anything was to cheat on her. Hello. Now that doesn't make it okay. And that definitely doesn't make it right. And that definitely isn't every case. There are men out there who give that case all the time and it's not true. Like, you know what I mean? Like nothing like that. But God, that seems really excessive. A list of rules. You know what my rules would be? Okay, if I had to write rules down for my boyfriend, I would be like, you can't talk to me in the morning unless I've had my coffee. That'd be one rule.
No more.
Austin this morning, it's like 8 a.m.
Good thing I'm not your boyfriend.
Austin this morning, it's 8 a.m. and he got done getting on a walk, and I'm up, and he's like, hello, good morning, how are you? And I'm like, I don't even think I responded, like, because I just can't function. Like, I'm just like, I can't speak. I have something where I have the kind of personality where I'm super outgoing. I can be loud. I can talk to you. When I'm at work, I'm on. When I'm like doing videos and blah, 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 like all this stuff, like I'm on, I'm like doing stuff. But then I go down afterwards. Like I am not high energy all the time. Like I am high energy. And then I also like lie down and hang out with my cats, and I need to not talk to anybody, you know? I have downtime. Like I can't, people who constantly have high energy 24/7, congratulations. Like, I don't know how you do it, but it's not me. Like, I need to not talk. Okay. Like, I cannot converse with you on every single thing. And if I'm not talking back, I'm not mad. That's another thing. It's like, I'm not mad. I'm not like irritated or, frustrated that you're talking to me. I'm just not engaging as much. Doesn't mean I don't hear or listen. I'm tuned out. You know what I'm saying? But some people, I think, like, when they get to know me, they like realize that I have downtime and then they think I'm like mad at them or something. I'm like, no, not at all. I just like can't keep that high energy level and be my best at the times that you need me to be my best. You know what I mean? Because it drains me. Because like in the past, I would always try to be like that for somebody all day, everywhere I went. And then I was so depleted and I would crash and burn and I would get depressive, So I have to learn to like manage how I work, And that's just you learning your own body and how you work. Because not everyone's the same, But like I feel like people don't realize that about me. Okay, yeah. So I'd be like, don't talk to me. I'd be like, you need to say you love my cat every day so I know you love my cat. You need to pet my cat and tell him he's a good boy every day. Oh my God, it'd be like so weird. I'd be really funny. I should like set up a fake Tinder account and like post all these things and see if someone would actually do these. Must be a cat lover. Like I just make this like really crazy cat lady Tinder profile and see what happens. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I try and look hot in the picture too. So people are like, she's hot, but she looks a little fucking psycho, but she's hot. So maybe I'll put up with it. I was listening to this. This is actually really random. Oh, by the way, God, I have all these things going through my head right now. This week, I interviewed a guy who was abducted by aliens. And I'm saying this because we talked about aliens before on this podcast. And my friend who I used to work for, she has this company and she basically, it's a personal cat and dog sitting service. And she has like a lot of upscale clients. I mean, she doesn't only have that, but a lot of it is upscale clients. It's really personable, private type of thing. So I used to help run her business. And we got together last week and she was telling me about her dad. And she was like, well, my dad's like 85. I was like, yeah. And she was like, and he was like abducted by aliens like 35 years ago. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, kind of like whatever. And she's like, and he really wants to get his story out because he's getting old and he feels really compelled to. I was like, I was like, he was abducted by aliens? She's like, well, yeah, he's kind of like whatever. And I was like, I'll get his story out. Like, I want to talk to him. Like, I was like, I've never talked to anybody personally. I never knew anyone personally before. Like, I want to talk to this man. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and my friend is so fucking awesome. And she's like, it's almost like she like believes him, but also like is like, doesn't have the greatest relationship with her dad. Like he's kind of, she loves him so much and everything, but I think was kind of an asshole, but had this experience and doesn't know what to do. And the fascinating thing, so I go over, he's like 85, he's like in one of those like electric scooter things, like can't really walk, all this kind of stuff. And he doesn't know how to read and write. First of all, there's no books in his apartment. He doesn't know how to read and write. And he was like, I'm not smart. He was like, talk to me. He's like, I'm not smart at all. But when I was like abducted by aliens, he's like, I got a lot of downloads and I just knew things. He's like, I knew about the Egyptian pyramids. I knew about, like those like weird things in the world that were, he's like, I knew how the asteroid belt was made. I knew about like all these like specific word, scientific shit, like CO2 shit mixed with this and how this comes about, all this kind of stuff. He's like, I know all of that, all of those things. And I just need to tell people. He's like, I'll be watching TV and I know that they're doing it wrong, or scientists are trying to come up with this. And he's like, I just know the answers. And I was like, this is so bizarre. So, and he was telling me about how it's just bizarre, and I'm going to interview him, and I'm probably going to put it together. And I don't think I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel like Crazy Avey because it's nothing to do with cats. But I found it super interesting. And, you know, the reason why I'm doing this really is because, like, I don't know, I took care of my mom when she was sick, you know, and she was like, when she was passing and dying. And I also took care of my grandma after she had her stroke. And like understand the value of how older people, when they get to be hindered by their health or by their ability to not be independent anymore, they still have so much inside their brain, but it's harder for them to communicate. And I can see it in their eyes. And so for them to just be able to like express themselves and get it out of them and somehow document that in a way to make them feel good, like it means the world to these people. I'll never forget. I will never forget when we had to move my mom into a nursing home. She was the youngest. She was like 65. And most people move in around 80s. You know, they're like 80s or 90s in there is when they move into a nursing home. And we were out eating dinner. It's like 5:30 because that's when the dinner rush is at these places. Okay. And I just overheard people's conversation. And there's like this old man sitting behind me. And he's like, yep, well, after dinner, I'll just go to bed and get up and do the same thing all over again. And he's like, just waiting to die. Like he said these things, you know, and he's like talking to his friend that was there. And he's like, yeah, my kids don't visit me very much, blah, blah, blah. And maybe this guy was an asshole to his kids, by the way. Like, it's very possible. And it could be very hard to deal with older people like that. But they like, when you get older, the less mobile you can get and the less you can't see as much, you can't drive, you lose a lot of your independence. So these people who are used to like walking around, doing all their things, like, you know, living their life, having exciting, you know, days as dancers, blah, 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 it's all gone. Now they just have to like barely shuffle from one place to the other and take their pills and eat. Like it becomes reduced to a very small thing. So I met with him and I could just see him just wanting to like vomit everything out, wanting to just get everything that's in his brain out. And I was like, why do you feel so, you know, called to do this? He's like, I just want to get it out of me so I know that it's passed on. So I can just like, you know, in case something happens to me soon, he's like, I'm getting really old and I just want it out of me. And I was like, I can give you that piece. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to, if anyone will watch it. I don't know what's going to happen. I can just make a DVD for your family. It'll be passed on the archives. Maybe we'll put it up on a separate YouTube channel. I'll tell you guys about it. You can watch it if you want, if not. But I was like, I'll definitely get your story out there somehow so you can feel better. So when you die, you know that you did everything that you could. Like, you know what I mean? Because a lot of older people, like, they sometimes, too, don't know how to communicate very well. They weren't taught those types of things, you know? And so they don't really know how to express their needs very well in a healthy way. So sometimes I just want to be able to be like, I get it. Let's get it all out. And that way you can feel good, you know, rather than feeling like stuck in your situation. So anyways, it's really fascinating. And you can say maybe he's fucking crazy and off his walk, you know, off his rocker and doesn't know shit. And Amory, you're taking for a ride. Maybe I was, but I'm fascinated by it. I'm absolutely fascinated by it. And hopefully we'll be able to learn more. And, you know, we were talking about aliens on this podcast and how I believe in aliens. Cause I'm like, how can you not? You know? And then he was telling me shit, I mean, I was like, this is so bizarre. And what was really fascinating is he was telling me there's all different types of aliens. Like there's all different types of species of aliens. So like when he saw his certain type of aliens, he knows other people that saw other type of different aliens and what they look like. And they're all kind of different because they're all from different areas of the galaxy, which makes so much sense to me, you know? Of course, it's not just one type of alien. And I was just really fascinated. But isn't that weird? So bizarre. What is my life? Fucking. And my friend, I was like, why didn't you ever tell me about this? She's like, I didn't know you were interested. And I was like, I mean, I wasn't like obsessively interested, but like, how bizarre that I was just talking about aliens and shit. And now your fucking dad was abducted? I've never met anyone that I knew that was abducted ever. So stay tuned for that. All right, you guys. We're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining the 9 Lives podcast. Again, we just went down the rabbit hole about a bunch of different shit. I feel like every podcast is a Rick and Morty episode. There's just like a million things that happened. There's never just one subject. I never even know how to title these things because there's so many things that we talk about, you know? Thank you for joining me. I love you so much. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tag your friends. Let me know your opinions and thoughts. I'm always open to hearing your opinions and thoughts because we should be able to hear each other out. Always. Love you so much and bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
Pete repeat.